Hello, this is Lauren Carr, and welcome to Authors on ITOURS, a podcast devoted to authors, book bloggers, and other book lovers alike.
So why don't you start by telling us your story without spoilers about your book? You had a book from trophy wife, so you were a trophy wife, and you to cosmetic surgeon. How about telling us, a little bit about your story and who you are?
Well, I started out, I was a housewife in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I had really nothing going on. Lived with my husband and my daughter. I think she was 5 or 6 at the time. And I just got really restless, and I'd had my own businesses before, and I was just really restless. There was nothing to do. I dropped my daughter off, and I felt like I wasn't contributing. My life was going nowhere. I think I was 27, 26, and I was just miserable, and I got more and more miserable. I made it a matter of prayer, and it was like I had to move, and I, tell all about that in the book. But I felt like I just was called to go to school, and my sister at the time was going to Ole Miss and to law school, and so I went with her a couple of times, and it was kind of like a knife in my heart that I've got to go to college, because I had no college, I just had high school, and so she helped me obtain, the financing, because my husband would have never. My husband was really not. It wasn't a great relationship, and he would have never paid for any school. But it was the first year in 1988, at least in Mississippi, that women could borrow money without their husband's consent.
That didn't happen until 1988.
88. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, "You're kidding me! Women can't do." Yes, that was only the beginning. But anyway, but I was able to get funding for my degree, and I'd take my daughter to school with me on the days that I had to, and we'd work out, studying versus non-studying. I couldn't study in front of my husband because it was just too, raging. So I would get in the middle of the night and study while he was sleeping, and then get up and take care of my daughter, go to school, come home, and just got through my undergrad, and then um, I was going to go to Tulane or different medical schools, and my husband we'd separated, and he moved to Oklahoma City. So I came to see him one weekend, and he's like, "Oh, let's get back together." Well, so I did, and I moved to Oklahoma City and got into medical school here. And then you really can't at that time anyway. You couldn't transfer out of medical school. So he left about a year later and was stuck in Oklahoma City. Well, I've been here 32 years. It's my home, So anyway, my daughter, I'm from New Orleans, and my daughter moved back to New Orleans about 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And so I have a place there too. So we go, and I can visit my granddaughter, my daughter, and, then I have my clinic in Oklahoma City. And I do a lot of counseling. I'm a cosmetic surgeon, basically. And I do lots and lots of counseling, because when people come in, men or women, they already have something wrong. There's something they're unhappy with, whether it's
something. And when you say something wrong, are you talking about physically or something wrong emotionally?
both.
Yeah.
And so they may come in for a line here or a wrinkle here or something like that. I'm like, especially when they're perfect, or they just look fabulous, and you're like, okay, what's really going on here? And so I've really been gifted with being able to kind of tease those things out and tease what's going on. And patients are always asking me, "Dr. Johnson, I'm so sorry to dump all this on you. I know you can't relate to this. Somebody like you would never go through what I'm going through." And I'm like, "You kidding me? You gotta read my book." Yeah. So, and they would say, "Well, how did you do this? How did you get out of that abusive relationship? How did you go to school? How did you do all of this?" And I don't know, or I didn't know. And so I thought, "Well, I'm going to write this down." And I just started doing that through all the steps and stuff. And I was like, wow, I went through a lot, and I overcame a lot, and I, now I have a huge clinic, and huge staff, but we're huge. But anyways, nice. And I've been doing this for almost 22 years. It's my own clinic, have my building, and my house is about 3 miles away from here. And so anyway, so I wrote the book to share with patients that you're not the only one going through whatever it is. We all go have challenges in our lives, and it's how we handle the challenges and fight through them. to me, that makes you a better person, you know? And I just wanted to be stronger for my daughter. I wanted to show my daughter that you didn't have to live the life that I lived as an abused housewife, you know, that you could rise up. And I knew that if anybody was going to support her, take care of her, it was going to have to be me. And I mean, my husband at the time did a good job, but it was up and down. And so I mean, I learned early on, I needed to get an education. I needed to have my own business, something so that I could make sure that my daughter, A, I was a role model for her to get out of this relationship. And then B, I could financially support her as well. And I did those things, and we have a great relationship. My little girl is 45 now. And she lives in New Orleans, but she's she had she
Now,
works for
is she a
VMware.
doctor?
No,
Or-
no, no. She is a cloud. Oh, what does she call herself? Anyway, she's an expert in the cloud IT world. She
Oh,
worked
yeah.
for Dell for a long time. Now she's with VMware, but she has a really big job and a nice house, and she just has a wonderful life. She's a little girl. My granddaughter is 6, and so it's just turned out great. And she's just, when I wrote the book, I mean, she still can't read it. She's like, Mom, I can't read that. I don't want to go through it again. And I said, well, I didn't want to go through it either, but I just felt like it was really important because, like I said, all the things that people tell me, they're just like, sometimes, you know, I have to hold on to my chair so I don't fall on the floor because I'm just, oh my gosh, can't believe you went through that. And I'm like, no, I want to put this out there that, you know, this is what I went through. Maybe someone can take a piece of my experience, or, you know, wisdom or whatever you want to call it, and take it into their own life, and it would help them as well. So
How did your faith get you through those tough times? Because you said you didn't want to go through it again, but obviously you did get through it and you
right,
even excelled at the end. Uh,
right.
was it hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel while you were going, or was your faith?
Yes, because it was 12 years, yeah. And so
Yeah.
when I first started, I went to see my medical counselor, and she was going through the schedule and everything I had to do. And I only had high school. And so I was just so overwhelmed one day. And she said, Vicki, how do you eat an elephant? You know, and she said, one bite at a time. And I thought, okay. And I was 28 at the time. And she said, you're going to be 40 anyway. You might as well be 40 and a doctor. So I stuck that back in my head. And I mean, I stayed on my knees. I stayed in constant prayer. You know, during the weeks, I wouldn't let anything on my radio or TV that wasn't just praising the Lord. And, you know, I need your strength. I need your help, but send people that I can help too, you know? And so, just, oh, so many things happened that just doors would open out of nowhere. And, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of money, and like I couldn't pay the electric bill. Well, then I'd open the mail and there'd be a refund from my gas bill that would cover my electric bill. I mean, it was so awesome. I mean, the power of God is amazing. And so I just stayed close to his robes, you know, and I just like, Lord, I'm not gonna let go. You know, this is very important. I feel it's important to you and to me and to my daughter, and I'm not gonna let go, and I am gonna get through this. I don't know how, but we're just gonna do one, you know, step at a time. And you have to open the doors. Yeah. So
Now, why did you pick cosmetic surgery? What made you pick that?
I think it picked me. Yeah, because what happened is I went to medical school and I went to residency and I graduated as a family physician. And I am a board certified family physician. Well, and I did internal medicine for a while, and I love my patients, but it wasn't for me. And I had another friend that opened a clinic like mine. I mean, this is 25 years ago. You know, we were one of the first in the country, and, you know, who had Botox and a couple of lasers, not much of anything. And so I kind of helped, and well, I did help in then aesthetic medicine. And so now it's just, I mean, I have 20 lasers, I have so many procedures, so many different things I can do. And again, all coming back to, why does this bother you? You know, this loose skin or this whatever, you know, what's really going on here? And if it really is just the loose skin, let's tighten it up. Okay, let's do it. You know, if I can't do it, I send them to friends of mine who are plastic surgeons. But yeah, so it just kind of grew, and this is my personality here. And you know, it's real upbeat and positive, and we do so many things now. It's not just a surgical clinic for sure.
Now you say that, you know, you talk about what what's really going on there. Have you ever, because sometimes you hear about people who get too much cosmetic surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever turned someone down saying it's not the loose skin there that's the problem, it's something
Exactly. Or
inside the head?
there's no loose skin there. Yeah. No, I've many times, many times, because a lot of my patients have that body dimorphic where they can't see themselves correctly. And no, and I've refused to treat somebody, but is pretty rare, but channeling them into a different direction, because once you start with a surgeon and you start getting surgery, you're not going to look like yourself. I mean, in my opinion, if you start too soon, you get too much, and I have patients come in here and I'm like, whoa, step away from the scalpel, step away from the filler, let's take a look at this. Let's see where you really are. And they respect me, and they respect that, if I tell them that they look pretty and they're beautiful, that goes a long way, because this is what I do. And so I try, again, back to the counseling, uh, just low self-esteem, and oh gosh, there's so much of it, and I just hate to see it. You're a beautiful person, you're a beautiful man or woman, and put your shoulders back, put your head high, but sometimes when you're down in the dumps, or you're in the pits of like going through what I am, you can't lift your head up, you can't lift your shoulders, you're so heavy and beaten down. But yes, I have patients that don't need to do any more. In fact, let's take some of that out. you know but it's a real delicate conversation, because I don't want to hurt their feelings or make them feel bad, at all either. So
Mhm. How do you hope that what do you hope readers will be able to get from your story, that they may be, what's your hope there in telling your story? Because you said your daughter hasn't read the book yet, uh but what do you think your patients or other people will get from it?
oh yeah, I've had lots of patients and lots of friends that have read it and just absolutely loved it. And what I wanted people to get from it is that you can come from absolutely, just a beaten down person and raise yourself up with your child. I mean, because she came through it the whole way with me. I mean, she was a
Yeah.
teenager in medical school, and that you can get through. And it's going to be it's going to be tough, but there are bright spots too along the way. And I always say faith grows in the rearview mirror. You don't know how far you come until you look back. And so
Yes.
I want patient or people to know that you just keep going forward. Just keep going forward. It's okay to rest, but just keep pushing. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't listen to anybody else's opinions. Nothing, because you have your goal and your goal is not their goal. And so just keep pushing and pushing, and the door will open. And the right door will open. So I want them to
Do you
have,
feel
the
that
main thing is
makes you
hope. Hope.
Yeah, that's hope. Do you think that makes you more relatable to your patients? Your
Absolutely.
story that, because they probably go out, I know whenever I go into a doctor's office, they're a doctor, they
Yeah.
know all, it's hard to get through medical school. They've done
Yeah.
all this, so they must know something. They're perfect. Their life must be perfect.
Yes.
They probably drive a Ferrari, they're okay. So do you feel that telling your story maybe makes you more relatable and humanize you to your patients?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the spirit that I want to have in the clinic, even with my staff, is that this is a place where human beings come, where people we love come, and it's a restorative place, um, a place of hope, and we are here for you. You can come in anytime, and we will minister to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's everybody in my staff. You walk in here and you feel at home. I mean, you do, and I make sure of that, through prayer and through, yeah, prayer.
Now I understand that you are donating $1 for every book sold to the Single Parent Academic Resources Collaborative
Uh-huh.
at Oklahoma City Community College. Now, why did you choose that organization?
It's for single parents going through college, and I felt like gosh, I wish I would have had, someone that had been through it. And, because as a parent, you have those challenges just as a parent. And now you're being a parent trying to go to school and, everything that entails. And so I felt it was an important thing for me to be involved in the community.
And that concludes this episode of Authors on iTours. If you enjoyed this episode, then do give us a like and a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe so that you can receive notifications for upcoming episodes of Authors on iTours. In the meantime, happy reading!